We set up a time to meet prior to when we start. When you show up 3 minutes before you start,
I was here. I was trying to get this thing situated. It sucks.
I show up typically an hour before the show.
Yeah, tell the people why their time is invaluable. What's up, everybody? You're listening to the most downloaded HVAC entertainment podcast in the world. Welcome to the HVAC Overtime show, everybody. I just knocked something off my desk. I didn't mean to do that.
guys, Gary Gleisberg is in here.
That was unscripted.
He's OG, Joe. Joe, I think you're muted still.
That's all right.
Yeah, he is OG.
That's amateur hour. He's been around since day one.
Wow.
Day
Who
one.
was that? Gary Gleisberg. I remember that avatar. What's up, Double G?
I was just complaining how fat I am, and I'm eating chicken. I come back with chicken and water.
Is it fried chicken?
Yeah.
Of course it is. Fatso. That's a word you don't hear very often. Fatso. We got to bring that word back. Let's start body shaming people again. What's up, Fatso? I wonder where that word even came from. Hey, what's up, Clive? Who do you got watching? We got Jessica Egan. Egan. She's kind of like OG, right?
Oh, everybody. Yeah, a lot of these people are
OG. Brian Sanders.
Yep.
Jesus Tilapia. You know who's not here, though? Who's never here?
Chris Stefanovich.
Yeah, he's not. We'll get to that in a minute. But Randy Ravioli, he's not here tonight. But what's up, Randy? We'll stay high still, even though you're not here. Randy
has he been to any shows in the last year?
I don't even know if he's a real person. I just get these vague messages every 17 hours on Messenger saying, hey, can you give me a shout out this week? And I'm like, yeah, sure, Randy, if you're real. And he said he had no heat this past Tuesday night because a bad circuit breaker. But I don't know what the deal was. I think he said something about some melted wires in the wall.
I mean, custodian engineer. Ted is saying there's no janitor.
I wonder if Randy's uncle is the one that was trying to fix an outlet, and that's why the circuit breaker tripped.
Don't talk like that.
Yeah.
Susie Dunn's here. She's another OG from the beginning. From
Barry. Already covered that.
Oh, sorry.
Hamilton, Michael, obviously. Ray. They're all keep six. Of course, Ted.
I don't know who that is.
No, I mean, either.
Nasty, but I think Nasty, you were called something else before. You had your name or something. Eddie. Jeez.
You know, last week's show in the very beginning, I didn't realize that Chris hit live.
Oh.
I didn't realize until I was going back actually today to copy and paste the description for the show.
So you saw the part where we were discussing putting Nathan in the background?
Yeah, exactly.
Before he was even in the background, people already knew
that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amateur. It was amateur hour. Man, so what's up? Where's Chris tonight? I heard he's out coasting the rollers at some hippie place or something, some commune.
Yeah, he's riding. He actually popped in here for a few minutes before you guys came on, and he was standing in line with his wife.
Oh, was he?
Daughters, yeah, for a roller coaster.
Oh, ew, gross. I hope he makes it.
Oh my god.
I don't do roller coasters, man.
I know. I don't like him either, dude.
Never had, never will. I don't even like fairs. I don't like Ferris wheels. I don't like your local county fair. None of that shit.
Yeah.
I don't trust I don't trust a steel structure that's been bouncing down the freeway for God knows how many days, and then it's put together by half-drunk carnies.
Yeah, I seen that, Chris. You went live and okay, you did that. All right.
Knott's
Live
Berry
on
Farm.
Facebook, I believe.
Chris is just like Joe. They'll call in sick for the show, and then they're sitting there in the chat the whole time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
You
you
can't
think he's
do it.
really at Knott's Berry Farm?
I don't know.
Probably not.
What was that thing?
Probably
I
not.
posted? Somebody saying.
What?
Roller coasters are not amazing,
I think it was a
Jessica.
question.
You
Yeah,
are
I
a
think they're
liar.
shady.
There was an awesome roller coaster that they shut down at Six Flags Great America in Illinois.
Why?
It was been up forever, and
Too dangerous or like too old?
I don't know. I don't think it was that old, but it was called Shockwave, and it had like 6 loops in a row, and it was crazy.
Ooh.
But the
Mm.
cool thing was they
Nope.
took it down, and I think they were trying to sell it to another amusement park. Nobody wanted to buy it, and when you get to the top of one of the newer roller coasters, you could see the bones and all the remnants, all the scrap metal from that roller coaster sitting in a pile off to the side. It was kind of sad.
Remnants of what?
The roller coaster, all the steel, like the tracks and everything, and you could tell because it was blue.
Mm.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Clive. I prefer any sort of themed attractions over loop-de-loop rides and things that just go high that are just made to scare you.
Yeah.
No.
No thanks.
Oh, dude, I would love to go down the drag strip with Uncle Ted. Oh,
that'd
hell
be
yeah, bro.
On the speed is addicting. He'll tell you that.
If there's a roller coaster ride that's just like boom, straight shot, which I think there is. But yeah, I'm all about that. I just don't like the 80-foot and up in the air and loop-de-loops and going around and down and
luau.
yeah, I don't do the whole loop-de-luaus.
So there you go, Joe. You got a question on the screen.
I cannot pull contactor. Its 22 gauge seemed too small. I've seen a small gauge wire on a long distance not be able to pull contactors in for sure.
Long distance. That's a good point.
Yeah. Long distance sometimes, or even long distance.
Is it an old contactor? Maybe it's resistance is kind of off kilter.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta add a.
But let's be honest. Who's using 22 gauge wire? You know, what I mean?
They have it for communication, maybe, or whatever.
I don't know. I feel like that's a homeowner thing or some.
I mean, that is pretty thin wire, you know.
It is. Sometimes you could double it, but hey, sometimes that's all you have. These guys, I don't know. They're using it. They think they could work it.
I mean, I guess if you stole it from like out of a phone booth, and then you're like, I need some wire.
Or if you're like one of those crackheads at the scrapyard,
Yeah,
you just like grab a bunch of the stuff, sit in the scrap pile.
Are you a crackhead? Real talk. Let us know. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, let's face it though. Anytime that happens, just like actuators not be able to pull in, or thermostats can't give that much power to, let's say, for zone valves. What do? Add a relay.
Mm-hmm.
Get back. You know what I mean? It doesn't take that much effort. Just add a relay, and it really takes a little bit less power to pull in. Plus, you could isolate the other side with the transformer power, or
you can put a transformer in the outdoor unit to power the contactor. Or if you want to get real fancy, Honeywell makes I don't know if it's T8 or T10 or something. It's their fancy thermostat. They have a remote equipment module, I think it's called.
Okay.
You can mount this thing outside, and it's completely wireless. And then you just run a wire from the equipment module to the contactor. Boom.
Bam.
Bob's your uncle.
There you go. Yeah,
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember. I never used one.
So what did you guys do this week? Anything fun?
I did have something in my head, but I totally forgot. So hopefully it comes back to me.
Why was it in your head?
Sorry?
I don't know.
No, a call or something, but it'll come back to me. I hope. I couldn't. I should have put it down, but
Isn't the zombie song like that? In your head.
I got into an argument today.
For what?
Was it in one of the Facebook groups, and you're trying to convince people that the laws of physics are real?
No.
Oh.
But that was a funny. I like that you brought that up recently.
Yeah.
Somebody was talking about like they don't want to turn their fan too high because it's cooling the air. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
Yeah,
I don't want it is. I'm experiencing it. Oh, really? I want to buy the fans wherever you are.
Yeah, all you need is a fan. Everybody knows that.
Well,
So they wouldn't explain this because I'm totally lost about
the
this.
guy was like, all right, so this was the conversation. This is a long time ago, actually. And I think Ty might have been in there. Maybe Ty wasn't in there.
Okay.
If you maybe read it at the end.
Let's just say it was for story's sake.
Ty was there. And he
Yeah.
actually physically was there. But this guy had a wood burning stove or a something of the sorts in this room in his house, right?
What's up, Alaska?
Okay.
And he wanted to run a fan, like a bathroom fan or some type of fan from that room to blow air in other parts of the house so he could keep the heat and move it around, circulate it, right?
Yeah.
But his question was, I
Mhm.
want to make sure I size the fan properly, because if I size it too big, I'm going to cool the air and my house is going to get cold. And I said, yeah, that's not how it works. And he argued with me back and forth, like 10, 15 comments back and forth, and then we went through the whole like pounds of air, blah, blah,
Gotcha.
blah.
So he was thinking, so he's producing heat over here, right? And he wants to put a fan right here to move said heat from there to there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, I'm going to cool the heat if I run the fan too much. I'm like, no.
Like the only thing that's going to happen is that heat, as it moves from there to there, it's going to heat up the air around it, or wherever it's moving to. That space is going to warm up, and then it's going to give its heat up to the air in whatever space that it's moving to.
Right. And the faster, the more CFM you're moving on a fan, the more heat you're removing from the space, right? And the air might seem not as hot because you're moving more air.
Yeah.
So your temperature rise is a little different.
Yeah, that was a good conversation though.
But yeah,
Really-
we got a little
changed
deep
the
in
world
that.
with that one.
We started talking like pounds of air and the whole shebang. But anyways, I got into an argument today with one of the guys that works for this general contracting company that I do a lot of work for, like high-end neighborhood. These people are all stupid rich. They have so much money. And these houses are all just like old. They're all historic. They're old, but they're annoying, I don't know how familiar you guys are working on
Are they all like
Old
fully
houses.
remodeled?
no. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm doing. We're like adding air conditioning and doing this and doing that. But anyway, this company is very demanding. They're like, we need to get this done today, blah blah blah, or like they'll say Friday, you got to be here Friday, and then the Monday you got to be at this one, blah blah blah. But there's like three main people that run this company. The one guy runs the job sites, another guy kind of runs the company in general, and the third guy kind of does the estimating side of it.
Oh my
But they're
God.
all randomly calling me
way.
throughout the day, telling me how important things are to them.
Oh, wow.
And then, so today, the one guy who runs the jobs came to me and he said, listen, you're dropping the ball a little bit on getting estimates back to us. He's like, it's actually embarrassing how long it's taking you to get estimates back. I'm like, I'll be honest with you. I don't give a crap. Like, I couldn't tell you how little of a crap I give about this situation. Like, I have more stuff than I can do and handle right now. I am not trying to get any more work. Like, that's not what I'm looking to do. And then he's like, well, you need to be more responsive. I'm like, I'll tell you what. I would like for you three in your company to get together and you guys formulate a list in order of importance for me. And then you contact me with said list, because I am not going to go and work until 9, 10 o'clock at night to keep all three of you happy. One of you is going to be happy, and then the other ones are going to suffer. I'm like, you guys make the decision who's going to suffer, because I'm done doing it.
How'd they appreciate that news?
He told me to stop talking and just listen, and I kind of put my fingers in my ears and I started humming.
No way.
Yeah, I'm kind of a dick like that.
You need to just stop talking and listen. Like, that's like a uber douche boss move. Like, I know some bosses that would say something exactly like that.
I mean, he did say that it's getting embarrassing how long it's taken me to get quotes back. I'm like, well,
Fucking
kinda
find
by
somebody else, bro.
right, yeah.
Like, you got a
Jason
phone
Downs,
book.
your labor rate needs to double or triple for working with them since they're so demanding.
I keep
Yeah,
raising my
100%.
prices and they keep biting. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
It's probably because they honestly can't find anybody else, or they really expect high-end quality work,
Right.
and they know that they're not going to get that from just anybody. So one of those two.
Yeah.
Right.
chucking a truck is too busy, or they're like chucking a truck sucks. So they're going with you. So good
How
luck
do you
with
like
that
my new
nonsense.
motif? I'm a little blurry today. I'm blurry in the background, and I got the lights off, so I feel
Yeah, what's
it's
going on
more-
with that?
I don't know. It's my my what do they call it? Emo.
Your depressing phase.
Yeah.
Speaking of being depressed, so all this stuff in the background, I got to start putting that into storage here in a while. I figure I have probably, I don't know. It's going to be a little while for the new little one moves into my new office, my old office.
Oh,
But inevitably, that's what's going to be happening. Is this is going to be turned into my new baby's room?
Are you sad?
Yes, because that means I have to move to the basement.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible. The one good thing about moving to the basement is I'll be closer to my router, so I can just hard pipe it right into my computer, right? So that's cool. But there's only like 2 outlets in the entire basement, and it's not very easy to run another outlet. So I got to figure out how I can run more outlets up through the basement into my garage into the breaker box that's already been drywalled in. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet.
more work.
You
doesn't stop.
drywalled the basement?
No, the breaker box is in the garage.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to your story. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm used to it. So yeah, no, I got to put at least 2 new outlets. It shouldn't be too hard. I just don't really want to cut into my drywall if I don't have to. But there's an attic above my garage, so I can just drop a line in through the attic, go over to the wall, drop it into the basement, and then hook up my outlets. Boom, boom, boom. I'm done. Bob's your uncle. I just don't want to have to cut into my my drywall if I don't have to.
But
I
cut
might
in your drywall. It's fun.
I mean, have you ever done drywall? I'm sure you have.
I hate drywall.
I've never done anything with it. I've done a little bit of spackling here and there. What is this? The king of questions tonight here.
I already had his.
For real.
Carrier rooftop units, the gas pressure adjustment cover cap is getting stuck. They utilize flatheads, and regardless of what I do, big screwdriver, short stubby, they strip out any tricks. This was a question from last week's show, I remember.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. The only thing I could say is, like, if you get it out, make sure you put some
Loctite
tape
on
or
it.
something. Loctite, yeah, something to keep the threads from oxidizing.
Put some Loctite. Put the red Loctite on it.
Yeah, put some Loctite on it. But if not, drill it out, buy a new one, you know?
What was that thing that I mentioned too? It's like the for aluminums and antioxidants.
Anti-seize.
Antioxidants, Joe. Are we talking vitamins again?
Again, I said that. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. No locks. Well, no locks.
Never heard of it.
That stuff. But
Heard
yeah,
of
they could be a pain. I've been there rounding and trying to grip it. Vice grips, but who carries vice grips nowadays? It's an extra heavy tool in the bag.
Yeah, and it's like a round sort of screw too, so you can't really get a grip on the head of it.
Right.
I mean, if you got a Dremel, maybe cut another flathead in there so you almost make it into like Phillips. I've done that before.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
That's a little.
Just kind of carve out another flat side to it, and then you got yourself a Phillips. And get a big old number 2 Phillips in there or something, and I always use impactor. If I have something stuck like that, the impactor works better. I don't know why exactly, but
push it, and
yeah,
maybe
like back when I did restaurant work, I had all sorts of screws that would just get stuck inside ovens and things, and yeah, the impactor was great. You could strip it out doing it with your hand for some reason, but you put the impactor on there, and it just like, bam.
Right. I used to get mad
out.
And I still get mad at my apprentice for, let's say, trying to take out screws or stuff inside, or you have to remove the dirt inside the Phillips because as soon as he turns it, it's going to strip. So I tell him all the time, make sure you put like so much pressure on that screw before you start turning it, because you're going to get me upset if it strips. And what do you know? He strips
it. Fucking stripped it.
Is this that old guy that works with you, Joe?
No, it's some other guy.
Did you fire the old guy?
Pretty much. Yeah.
He's not working out anymore.
No, I think you've seen him in that little video I sent today.
Oh, that was his last day or what?
Which one?
The old guy or the young guy?
It's hard to keep track of all your apprentices, Joe. You fire them like every week.
Which old guy? This is like a year ago, if not more.
You had I don't know. You had a guy that was like middle-aged guy that you were yelling at over there. That's older.
Was I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What was that about?
I don't know.
He probably stripped out a screw. Like,
mean,
hey, fucko.
What I
stop
don't get
stripping
is
screws
he's
out."
your elder. You're supposed to respect your elders,
That's
Joe. And
true.
you're over there yelling at him. You should be like,
He's
"Sir."
like he's probably got his red seal, and he's like a mentor to you, or should be a mentor to you.
Nothing. Hopes and dreams. And
Is he Nate certified at least?
I am the most patient one of them all, to be honest. And if it was with other people, they're probably gone already. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty patient. Use a coin driver and the file the center flat.
What is a coin driver?
Coin driver.
I've never heard of that.
Just like the coin. I think just using a coin.
Just use like a quarter?
Yeah.
Like I don't have a quarter. Can I use my debit card?
Hold on. He put something in the PB Swiss tools.
Yeah, PB Swiss.
8125.
It looks like a paint scraper, paint opener.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what we're talking about. Yeah, Kroll.
Share screen if you can, Adam, if you could get it.
Pretty good.
Can't remember. Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm not sure what the point of that is.
Well, because it's like big. The length of it is big. Bigger than a slide.
Interesting.
That's what she said.
Oh God. Thing. So yeah. So I think that's what.
Did everyone get a good look at that?
That's pretty
See
cool.
the model number.
Yeah.
All right, get a good close look.
I've never seen one of those before.
Oh, it's got a serial number on it.
Mm.
You got to register that for a warranty.
$20, huh?
That's good because there's a lot of area.
But you see how the end of it's kind of rounded like that.
How about
fits in there nice and just drives it home.
Oh, Ray, hold on. I'm coming to help you, George. No kidding. Today, we don't do it often, but today I had 2 lifts doing this spiral, like 18-inch and 20-inch up high, and to organize that and to just orchestrate that is just, it was a little.
Did you yell at them?
Well, you gotta understand, like you got a huge hole beside you. You're on lifts. We're already going against whatever safety regulation. We're not wearing hard hats.
Are you wearing harnesses?
No harnesses, nothing.
Holy
like that.
Shit!
Right. So I'm keep on.
But you wear nail proof boots though.
Did you see the video he sent over today where he's kind of razzing these guys?
No, yeah, I missed it.
Quick, there's gonna be more coming soon, I promise. But it was just very nerve-wracking. Just because you gotta be careful, we gotta be in order, lift at the same time. We're using obviously the sky jacks to lift up this ductwork, and it just has to be organized, So
man, oh man, what was the? You said you were working like right next to a hole.
Yeah, it's an indoor pool. We're doing a huge dehumidification setup.
Oh, okay. Is this like a new build?
Yeah, new build.
Okay, so there's no water in there, like nothing.
So,
yep, they're doing some metal studs for the offices. They have a rooftop for the offices. That's keeping me warm right now while I'm working there. Open it up, and yeah.
What's the best place to watch the show?
YouTube, bro.
YouTube, yeah, we can see because right now we can't see who you are. You might be, but you might be somebody really cool. That's how we met Jim Davis. He just randomly came in and started talking to us.
Yeah, you could be somebody really cool. We have no idea. Just his Facebook user.
Yeah, or you could be douche Bigelow.
Yeah, you could just be a crackhead.
Plus, the chat is full of great texts and great conversations. So.
Hey, so speaking of lifts and that, we did I don't know, probably like 7 years ago, we did a Arthur Murray dance studio. I shouldn't have named the names. It was
Arthur Murray dance studio.
Yeah. That was actually the one and only like commercial VRV job we ever did. We did like 2 Daikin 10-ton units, and it was pretty cool. It was a learning curve. Like I had no clue.
Put a pair of dikes in there, eh?
Wait a minute. What do we got here?
Who's this?
Hey, ding.
The one and only Joe Shearer.
Who's this? Is this the most eligible bachelor in the United States?
No.
Joe Shearer.
Yeah. How's it going, Joe?
Good. How are y'all?
Pretty good.
Doing better now.
Yeah. We needed a fourth square.
Now that
Yeah,
you're here, balancing us all out.
Yeah, I'm just filling in for Chris.
It's
You
good.
should do this more often. We don't really
I
like
know.
that guy.
Yeah, you should tell Chris that. He'll like that.
Yeah,
We just did. We just did.
We got
He's
rid of the dead
listening.
weight for the night.
Yeah. He's out coasting rollers with his wife and stuff.
We were just talking
Yeah.
about OGs in chat, and then Joe Shearer stops in.
Yeah. We used to hang out with Joe quite a bit back in the day, like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night with
Yeah.
Ted Cook, Joe and Ted just going back and forth.
Yeah.
Freaking
I wasn't privy to all those conversations, but the handful that I've been a part of were amazing. And they all focused around one particular HVAC person who one time had sex with a condenser. And I'll never forget that. That was the greatest time of my life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's moved on now to he's doing cars, I believe. At
Oh.
a yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
For real? Like real?
As real as it gets with Isaiah.
Oh
Yeah.
do,
Man, I
do you
missed
know
that.
Isaiah?
no.
No, are you
don't?
serious, Joe?
Joe, you know him from back in the
course.
day.
Yes. Formerly known as Lynx.
Come
Uh,
for
Formerly known as
Speaking of
Isabella.
old school, Dustin Cole texted me tonight. He's at some Ream event, and John Israel's mom and dad were getting an award at the event tonight.
no way.
No.
Yeah,
What?
For what?
Award for what?
I don't know.
Eating the
Being
most
like-
pancakes?
What?
Say
John's
that.
mom
I'm just
passed
joking,
away.
John. I'm just joking, John.
Oh, maybe it was his mom, his dad. He sent me a freaking thing here.
Well, John Israel is a rude
It's,
guy, and so are you, Joe Shearer, right? I remember you always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still kind of am.
Rude.
Nice.
It's rude.
What do y'all think about all those Daikin Fit and like Gree units?
Maybe
that
he's
are-
wrong. He said his mom and
getting
dad, but that's
popular?
definitely his dad. I don't know. You can
Is it?
see.
I can't.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Sorry. Go ahead. Degree what? Like the
mini splits or
Well, like the
doublet?
Daikin Fit and all those other units are getting more popular. Like everyone thinks they're the greatest thing ever, and I'm like,
Never heard of them.
y'all are gonna hate life when you
they
have
start breaking, right?
when they start breaking. Yeah,
Who's gonna fix them?
Are they basically just disposable then?
they're
Like, is
they're not
it-
going to be disposable.
I feel like that's
These
the
people are not going to want to hear that.
I know. That's the
I
thing.
I feel like that's the direction it will eventually go in. Maybe not
Yeah, maybe
completely.
like okay, so someone next to now would be like, look, these people sold you some Chinese thing, but a Daikin Fit or one of those Amana units that is basically the same thing.
Hmm.
I'd be
don't
nervous about. I mean, we've installed a handful of them, but I'll tell you right now, like I'm not confident at
Have you?
working on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would.
dude, they're
I wouldn't know
freaking-
the first thing about
Yeah.
trying to fix them.
But why? What's like what makes you not confident about working on them?
There's just a lot to it. I mean,
It's
there's
like overly complicated. Like they just have so much going on.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like another thing is like when you talk to people at Daikin or at Amana about like,
And they're like,
They-
I don't know how it works either.
well, you talk about the communication. They talk about communication voltage. A
Mm.
lot of them don't really know and understand what's going on and what's being like sent, like what data is going back and forth. They don't really understand what should be happening. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
so
Jeez, that doesn't help.
right. I mean that's one nice thing about basic equipment. It's like, hey, 24 volts on. You have a capacitor here. I understand all this. I don't know. It would be
See,
nice to get thoroughly trained on this,
Yeah.
right?
I was gonna say I'm all about being smart and like really trying to excel at your craft. But I mean, there's a point where like some of this stuff is just it's not even intuitive. Like you have to go to the classes, you have to be involved in it. Like you have to do a little bit every so often to stay up on your knowledge of it, or you're just gonna go there and call tech support.
Well, they make you
or
take a
just-
training class in order to sell it, but it's kind of a joke. It's basically like hook these wires to the indoor unit and
Mhm.
these wires to the coil, and you can't go farther than this amount. And this is how you weigh in the charge. And it's like
Mm.
Thanks. That's the
Mhm.
install manual. I appreciate that. Like, how do
Yeah.
I work on the things, you know?
Yeah, how does it work?
Yeah.
What do I need to know
Don't worry.
about
Part 2 of our class is all the sales features.
it? Yeah.
So you guys have to
This is how
take a
you-
little mini class to sell the Mitsubishi or Daikin or something.
Yeah, the Daikin and
Oh.
the Mana. Yeah.
A lot of
Oh.
companies do that to like sell their, top tier stuff. They make you take a class.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because they do that here as well. But when it comes to ductless, to be honest with you, I don't think they do for any of them. Like again,
No, no.
it's weird. I just realized that. Huh.
So you haven't bought into any of that yet, huh, Joe?
What do you mean?
I haven't. No, I haven't, because I really don't want to be the guy there standing in front of these people saying, "Oh yeah, it's July and your unit's broken. There's nothing I can do to make it run. It needs an inverter board. It'll be here next Tuesday."
Yeah,
You
and it's
know?
this much money. Yeah.
Or
And that
next
can happen
month.
with regular units too. I mean, you're not going to put a temporary compressor in a unit, but at the same time, there's a lot you can do with a regular unit. Fan motors, temporary fan motors. Like, you're not even putting a temporary fan motor in one of those. Blower motor, probably, even though it's a regular motor, I'm pretty sure it'll probably throw a code and not run if it doesn't
Yep.
see the blower motor.
Yeah.
If you just were
Yeah.
to put a motor in and wire it up to line voltage or something, it probably still wouldn't run. It would.
Right.
You're not putting a rescue motor in it.
Well, you can get it to
No.
run, but the unit's not going to run. That's one of the things I've noticed.
Yeah.
I think the first time I noticed that was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I tried doing that on a high-end ream furnace, and it gave me
Yeah.
a code that it wouldn't.
Yeah. Blower not recognized or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The thing is,
So-
too, a lot of times, like in the past, when let's say I worked on ductless or indoor units, head units, the blower's not working inside, but they're like, okay, I tested it. I tried doing my testing. I know it's not working, but you know what? It's better you change this as well with it because they're probably
Mhm.
both bad. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep on changing
Yeah.
parts. Just changing parts. Only part. Oh, my
Well, a lot of these the mini split manufacturers, actually, I'll tell you one for sure, like Tosat, which is what is that, Medea?
never
And
heard of it.
is that Medea? That is Medea, is it not?
What is it?
They're like a real big company, but it's their spin-off. I think it's Medea. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, like their tech support in that when you go through the process, because they have one of those units that looks like a mini split, but you could put it on any furnace or air handler, connected up to an evaporator coil or whatever.
Mm.
But like it's like, hey, is this doing this? And if the answer is yes, they're like, change this part. And then it's like there's a flow chart. Did it fix it? No, then change this part. There's no like actual diagnostics process where it's like measure this voltage, do this, check this pressure, whatever else. It's just like change this part, then try this part, then try this part.
That's called
Hmm.
triagnostics.
Yeah,
That's very technical.
like my HVAC life says. Let me
It's like they should make a book called Changing Parts for Dummies.
yeah. $12 sensor shuts down and takes weeks to get across the ocean. Yeah, it's absolutely true.
I had I forget the exact model number, but it's not that old of a carrier at a place that I recently went to, and just the simple inducer was bad. And I called carrier, and it was I don't know, 90%er and blah 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 something the other. And they're like, no, it's going to be what they say, 30 to 45 day lead time on this inducer motor.
Mm.
Now that luckily where I'm at, it's a commercial place, so they have like 4 other of these furnaces, so it's not that big of a deal. But I was like, if this was somebody's house,
Right.
like, what am I going to tell me? I'm sorry, you can't have heat till next month. Obviously, if I was a residential guy, I'd probably have to swap out a temporary furnace or whatever for him. But just an inducer motor, it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Inducer motor.
Yeah, and we're not even in like some kind of pandemic shortage or anything
Yeah,
now. And
maybe it's like that cold snap kind of sucked all the inventory out for a while.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
In my experience, Michael House, my experience, it's really just boards that go out. The motors and stuff tend to last until the units need replaced. So boards, yeah, I see a lot. You're right. Yeah, boards do go on.
They haven't been out that long enough to really know, you know?
Yeah. True.
Yeah, Joe.
I was actually gonna have. I was talking to Brett the Wet Pretzel the other night, and I was telling him, like, I'll be honest with you, I'm intimidated by the unit I installed at my house, the Daikin Sky Air. You open it up, you're like, holy crap! Like, freaking boards.
So it looked like something like an
different
AI
from the
generated
Fit thing?
image.
Oh, completely. There's like a million. It's like the Fit on steroids.
Well, what's different about it?
I honestly, well,
Just better rates and better heating and stuff.
It's as far as like down to the nuts and bolts, I couldn't tell you all the details on the inside, but like I get 100% capacity at -5, so for heating, that's why I installed it. But Brett was going to look at the because he kind of just understands all that stuff with the.
Well, I thought he was more like supermarket refrigeration.
He is, but he just installed a full out VRV system in their new training center.
Isn't it part of the classroom?
What do you mean? Yeah, as part of the classroom for people.
Yeah, like actually part of the training stuff that he uses. Like, it's like not. I don't know if it's actually being used to cool the space more. So,
it's just to teach people on it.
Yeah.
So he knows the communication side pretty good on that system.
I'm not as much worried about the communicating. I'm more like all the little bells and whistles on the like refrigeration aspect inside the outdoor unit. Like that's overwhelming to me a little bit,
Oh, like, okay, so what components would they have? Like, I don't get it.
They have like
all kinds of stuff, probably oil separators, check valves, and
right.
Yeah,
they do like some sort of I don't know, it's vapor injection or so. There's all kinds of crazy crap out there. So I was gonna send him the diagram and just have him kind of walk me through it and try to wrap my brain around it a little bit.
You have the refrigeration diagram?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see it too.
Yeah, so do I now.
Jeez.
What about like there's nothing in the manual that explains the sequence of operation at all?
I mean,
like sequence of operation.
I'm sure like you got to read these manuals. So there's like an install manual that's fairly thick, and then there's a service manual that's like 400 pages that you actually need to commission the unit, but it doesn't come with the unit. So like the first time I was ever doing it, the guy from Daikin had like a chip on his shoulder, and he's like, "Why don't you looking at the service manual?" I'm like, "There is no service manual." And he's like, "Well, it doesn't come with the unit." I'm like, "Well, that makes a lot of sense."
What the hell?
Yeah.
But that's 400 pages, and then as far as design goes, there's like an engineering
the service manual is 400 pages,
something like that, 3 something or close to 400.
Holy garbage cans, man!
So yeah, there's a lot in there. I'm sure there's enough to learn it, but like when you read it, it's intimidating,
So what is it? Just hooked to a coil on your furnace?
No, I have a air handler. I went all electric. I figured like
You did.
I want to, So
you sound disappointed, Joe.
Jeez, you took out the gas meter.
Oh, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's like it's the same thing as the Goodman. They're the one that's the EEV air handler. Is that what it is basically?
Yes, but this air handler is only for the Sky Air unit. It's a Daikin.
Okay.
It's the only one. The FTQ is only for Sky Air, I guess. So
See, I haven't run across anything that complicated, I guess, in a little while. A couple Aeons every once in a while, I'll see those, and I'm like, that's
did you know no one's gonna have a part for your thing in like anywhere because they're probably not real popular,
right? But that's the thing. Like I could rig something up in my house to get heat going if I had to. You know?
Sure, yeah.
You should probably buy an entire like spare system and just keep it at your house for parts. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask because I remember.
Yeah, get as many parts as you can while you can still get them under warranty.
Yeah,
just like one every couple months.
Say something. Yeah, really do it. Like something's bad.
Like, need a fan motor. Need a outdoor motor.
Board. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I wonder when they eventually say, you know what, let's just send you a new unit.
You're like, no, that's okay.
I've actually we had
got one built.
Yeah. Second spare.
We had with York. We did York, quite a. We installed a ton of York when I worked for my dad's company, and that was at the time when Johnson Controls just bought York, and that was, I don't know if anyone here, in the chat experienced that time frame, but that was a freaking crap show. There was so many warranty issues back in the day, and York was paying labor warranties to us.
Oh wow.
So, but like we would have issues, and then like they would send us. They would have like, all right, so like the collector box on the secondary, they would leak from the factory.
Yeah.
And then they would know they leak, so we'd replace them. But then the ones that they gave us would also leak.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like some
It's a
stuff like
clear
that.
Ones.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
but they would, after so many warranty issues on a furnace, they'd be like, "We're gonna freeze the warranty. You can't warranty anything else." It's like,
Wow.
I didn't build this piece of crap. You did,
Yeah, you're the only guy that's having problems with our.
Yeah, nobody else has
furnaces in the
issues
entire-
like you.
Wow.
Yeah, I fell for the York stuff too because it was, built in the good old Midwest with a lot of supposed to be American parts and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah,
The
look,
American dream.
I'll
support it,
I'll
yeah.
support that. American made. But dude, these things stink.
You probably didn't run into as much as me, though. I mean, I'm sure you ran into a lot of the evaporator coil issues.
Yeah,
and-
the evaporator, like they leaked brand new.
yeah.
These evaporator coils because I have a feeling anyway because I would go back like 2 years after install, do a first maintenance or something, and your subcooling's like 0 or 1. It wasn't low enough to where they even were complaining, but it's like, okay, maybe I didn't really charge this thing right.
Yeah.
So bring it back up again, and sure enough, you come back every year or 2 years, it's low again. They're tiny leaks too. They're micro leaks.
Yeah.
But
They had big issues with their high efficiency furnaces, especially the modulating furnaces were big time. And then the affinity condensers, I remember we started buying those right when they came out. And the first batch, it was in the middle of the summer where it was super hot, right? And we sold I don't know, probably a good 10 or 15 of them. And if you're working the whole day and the house is hot, you get the AC going, you charge it up, you set your airflow, and then you're off to the races. You're gone, right? You leave the house. We started getting calls like a week, 2 weeks later, after people were outside and it started cooling down. York was wiring all the contactors wrong from the factory. They were hooking up the fan motor wires, the line volts for the fan motor on the line side of the contactor, so the fan would just run nonstop. And I wasn't catching it because we would just leave the AC running when we would leave the house, So
Wow.
feel like it was an ECM motor or something, huh? They probably got confused.
yeah, I don't know.
They were like, "Oh, these aren't ECM motors."
You're the one who got me into looking at, I believe it was you, with you had the oscilloscope you were playing with for a while.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oscilloscope.
On communicating systems.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't
you guys keep
really.
talking about your
I've
nerd
used it.
stuff. I'm going to be in the chat.
I've used it a few times just on like some. I don't know. I think I used it once on like a carrier unit because it was a communicating blower motor and it wasn't running. So, and it wasn't. Usually, when you spin the wheel on an ECM motor and it's got like electric brakes on it, it's pretty obvious it's the module shorted. But yeah, I just grabbed that and just kind of booted the furnace up and saw those packets of data being sent to the motor. So I figured, hey, it looks like the board's alive and talking to it. That's about all you can do. There's no deciphering what those packets of information actually mean. But if you see some nice packets of data, and usually it's there's like a transmit and a receive, right, on most of the motors.
That's negative, yeah.
Really all of the I don't know about your Skyer thing. They might use like mini splits where it's kind of, I don't know, that I would be scared to even hook my oscilloscope up to that, because isn't it like 200 and something volts DC
No.
on the communicating line?
No,
Well, on
this is
some,
yeah, no, on a lot of the ductless stuff and the mini split stuff, but this is like
low.
considered residential VRV. So it's all DC volts, low volt DC.
okay,
There's
so
no-
you still use a thermostat wire for it?
yep.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, but I'd be scared to hook it up to the mini split communicating.
Right.
That red wire or whatever, but yeah. So I haven't used it a lot, but it comes out maybe once a year, just to,
Call them Shearer.
I always forget the settings, because it's not easy. You got like a trigger, and you have to kind of get that in the screen so you can kind of see it and stuff like that. But
Yeah. You're Joe, you're in Florida, aren't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good friend Ray
You were
was
just here.
Yeah. I wasn't at your house.
Bill didn't come.
Nope.
Why didn't you go, Bill?
Because it's in Florida.
You don't like Florida?
Nope. I don't like the
Why?
shape of it.
You only
I don't-
visit states you like the shape of?
Yep, 100%. If it doesn't look like a panhandle, I don't go.
A panhandle. We literally have a
Hardly.
place called the Panhandle.
Yep, that's the only place I like to visit. I live in Michigan, which is the hand, and I go visit the panhandle.
So the name's got to have like a hand in it somewhere.
Keep it simple.
Okay.
How was business going down there in Florida? I always knew you as a just relaxed, happy, simple Joe. Like you just comfortable
Oh,
what
yeah?
you're doing. Nothing push. How was business down there anyway?
Repeat.
Yeah.
What?
About like that. Yeah. Yeah.
You're wrong.
You're,
It's pretty slow right now, but it will get crazy. So I'm enjoying a little bit of
Quietness.
more free time. But
but you're
It's
definitely
steady, yeah.
more like you're more methodical with your installs than that, where you spend time on things. You're not pushing to do like freaking 5.
Do you
jobs.
do you wrap
No.
everything in that foil, that bubbly foil stuff, and like put lights behind it? And
yeah, I do everything.
sweet. I knew it.
No, the bubble wrap. I'm not a big fan of that stuff, to be honest. But
Yeah.
it comes in handy.
The
I'm not a
bubble
big-
wrap.
But yeah, bubble wrap.
I question like the effectiveness of it, but I'll tell you, I've used it on a couple of jobs, and
Yeah.
it just is easier than
Oh, yeah,
fiberglass,
much
in my
easier.
opinion.
Yeah, and it looks good too, and it looks like it's insulated, but it's only like R1 point something.
Yeah.
When you it says R6, but then it's got a little tiny like asterisk, and you have to read the really fine print that says this is with a properly installed 1-inch air gap.
Oh,
And
yeah, right.
if you're gonna actually do that, that's a flipping nightmare. It probably might be easier just to do fiberglass than
No
if you're
kidding.
gonna really try to
Florida
set up all these
FLA
spacers. They want you to cut a strip
Those
of it
trees.
and make all these spacers.
What?
And then it would look crappy too, because it'd be all like sagging and loose.
Right.
Mm.
So
I did my first about a year ago. I did my first duct system that we use closed cell foam on. And funny thing, this winter, I think I talked about it. I said this story once before, but when it was -15 outside, the homeowner. This was a master suite edition, and it was a ducted mini split. It is a walk-in closet, big master bath, master bedroom, and then a hall bath that wasn't part of it. And they called and they said, it's 50 degrees in here. It's like working, but it's not working. I'm like, well, I did a load calc. Like, I don't understand why it's not working. And I go over there and something's got to be wrong. And I'm questioning my flares.
Windows are open.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the control and I'm like watching it. There's not one error code in the whole thing. It's been running for a year, not one error code. And I'm sitting there, it goes into defrost, comes out of defrost, babysitting it for like probably an hour, hour and a half. And then it just comes to me. I'm like, it's working normally. Why is it not heating? And I sent the model to Roman. You guys know Roman. He used to be with Daikin. And I'm like, is there anything I could do to push more heat out of this thing? I'm like, this is the low temperature heat pump. And he's like, that's not the low temperature model. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, no, it has there's supposed to be an L in the model number. They gave us the wrong mini split and we installed it. I didn't catch it. And I was questioning if it was me or if it was the supply house or whose problem it was, but they actually fessed up to it. They said they wrote the order originally with the low temperature model, and then the guy went in after the fact, probably because of availability, and he changed it. And he just gave us the other model. And we installed.
I mean, I always try to check voltage, like a few other things, but I'm not.
Did it make that much difference?
It's double the heat output.
Wow.
The low temperature model, double the heat capacity at that temperature. So
should have oversized it.
But yeah, so we were out there yesterday cutting foam. We were just cutting the foam on the change fittings on the air handler. And
why, it was a completely different size?
No, but we had to get our connections. We foamed all the way up to the air handler.
The air handler?
Yeah. So
like you're trying to get your screws and stuff?
Yeah.
So you had to like dig the foam away?
Yeah, it didn't take that. It was probably a good 2.5 hours to replace the air handler. It wasn't terrible, but it was annoying.
Too bad you couldn't like swap out the guts of it or anything.
Yeah. That's but you know, my luck, something bad would have happened, and then I would have to buy another air handler. You know.
Yeah, I assume you would have like avoided a warranty or something if you would have just swapped the guts.
I don't know. They're the exact same size units.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted the other one back, or what did they?
They do, yeah.
They did, yeah. I just give it back to them in the new wrapper. Maybe scuff it up a little bit, drag it down the driveway, something. Or something, you know?
Roll it down the stairs.
Yeah, right. Here you go.
You know, I bet you if it was any other contractor, like they wouldn't even care. But some people want what they order. You know what I mean? So it's dumb that they did that. Honestly.
Yeah, he didn't care until he got a phone call.
Right. Well, that's true.
The first 2 minutes of the phone conversation, the guy was like, you know, from the supply house, he's like, well, maybe you ordered it wrong. I'm like, this is the only source of heat in this section of the house. I have never ordered a heat pump that's not a low capacity, you know, a low temperature,
especially in Chicago.
Right.
What size was it?
1 ton.
12,000. This was a little bitty outdoor unit, huh?
Yeah,
little bitty thing.
What temperature was that rated for?
Yeah, like 100%, the lowest.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, at what temperature were you running at 50?
30 degrees outside.
Yeah, it was probably like a 3,000 or something.
Huh? Let me see. Sorry, continue.
Sure. Now you know, did you get it or no?
Yeah, so the unit itself, the one that we did install, is a FTRX. So at 5 degrees, it has 7,000 capacity. The one that we did install originally.
The wrong one.
That's as low as it's rated to. And then the one that we replaced it with, this one actually has a 8,280 output at -13, and it's 13,600 at 5. So
yeah.
Yeah, Jason's saying 80% up to -13 or something.
Is that what it was? It was like 5 degrees when they called you?
It was -15. I mean, if it's -15, they're gonna slip anyways for sure.
Sure.
So it was -15, and that one unit was still
maintaining 50 degrees in the house.
That's pretty cool for inside a house. But
emergency backup.
What do most people keep their house at when it's -15? Is it like 68 still?
72.
So,
It's weird because I have two different. There's two different groups of people. Some people are reasonable and they're like, you know, we'll probably keep it at 66, 67. And then there's other people that try to turn it up higher. And like, I want it
Yeah.
70. I want to turn up to 76
Yeah.
because it's so cold outside. you know?
76.
So yeah, I have quite a few people who are like,
Dude.
I'm like, are you nuts?
That's a crazy delta T between your insulation at that. Man,
It won't get to 76, that's for sure.
I wonder what that would, don't think I've ever been in negative 15 degrees. I don't know if I walk into a house 66 or, low 60s would feel warm or not.
I know. 64, Jason Johnson? I can't. No way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Too cold, man.
And Hambone keeps his at 72.
There you go.
I don't know. That's a little too much. Like I could be comfortable at 68. I'm at 70 because my wife wants it at 70.
I try to see how I would, just to have conversations with my customers. So the last couple of years after I started like actually doing load calcs and that, I've been trying to keep my house at ACA defaults to see if I'm comfortable. Maintaining the humidity, 75 in the summer, 50% relative humidity, and 70 degrees in the winter.
Yeah.
So is your SkyAir keeping it 70 at negative 15?
I maintain temperature at 1 degree, and then it starts slipping, and then I have to kick in resistance heat once I drop below 1 degrees outside.
I agree, Michael.
Okay, so you got a bank of electric heaters in there?
Yeah, 5 kW.
Oh,
that's not
that's it.
Small.
Yeah.
What size is your SkyAir thing? 4 tons or something?
No, it's actually a 3 ton, but I reprogrammed it. Daikin has a capacity plug, so it's actually it thinks it identifies as a 2 ton. So it's running at 30,000 BTU output at -5. 30,000.
Yeah. Oh, so even though you told it it's a 2 ton, it'll go above that.
Yeah. So the rated output
it should definitely do that. Like let's say you want a 2 tons in cooling, but you don't necessarily need to limit it in heating. There's no, especially when it gets cold out. That's kind of the best of both worlds, wouldn't you say?
Well, that's what I wish they would do that.
That'd be cool.
I've done ground source heat pumps that you can set different parameters for each heating and cooling. But it's like one size fits all for the Daikin thing. But all the SkyAir outdoor units, they all come with 5-ton compressors in them, so you could play with the capacities on them. Yeah. But the 2-ton has it's not 30,000, it's 27,000 BTU output at -4, and they're all rated higher than their nominal capacity. 30,000 their 2.5 ton is 34,000 output. So
so it overdrives it a little bit, but didn't you have what did you have, like 100,000 BTU furnace?
Yeah.
And you're heating it with a 27,000? No?
Yeah.
Did you do improvements to the house, or you just
I definitely did. So I encapsulated the attic and
spray foam.
Yeah. Closed cell
on the roof decking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much all you did, right?
Yeah, well, I've been also air sealing the basement and the first floor where I can, So like I got my blower door number way down.
Just from the roof?
Well, no, like I'm kind of crazy. I ended up we took out a window, so I opened up this big wall, and then I ended up cutting the floor out because I found a huge amount of leakage under this floor space that I couldn't get to in the basement. So, yeah, a big portion on the roof, but a lot of it in the basement and the first floor wall that I opened up.
Not the basement floor. You're talking about your first floor.
Yeah, main floor.
First floor I opened up, right? Like
you took off the subfloor.
Yeah,
and the finished floor.
On the first floor, just on one section where it's like sitting over the outside of the foundation. You couldn't get to it because they had another floor joist blocking it, so you couldn't get to it from underneath.
Which was probably the most
you were losing a lot of air through that. It was like
a
wide open.
So normally, like you would see in the Midwest, you would have a foundation, like an outside wall, and then you would have a 2x4 laying flat on the foundation. That's your bottom plate, and then you would have the joist sitting on top of that. Staggered every 16 inches or whatever it is. But on this particular wall, instead of having a solid bottom plate, they would have like a 2x4 that's like 6 inches long, laying flat, and then there would be a 1 foot gap of nothing, and then like another 6-inch. So there was all these big gaps, and that's where I was getting tons of air in, all along this entire wall of the house. So it made a huge impact, like foaming all that. It's pretty cool.
Jason Julian was saying his hyperheat was pushing 112 degrees supply temp and a snowy 9-degree ambient outdoor temp.
I think this is how China and Japan and everything are going to take over, right? They're going to get us to switch over to all these like crazy heat pumps, and then they're going to just switch them all off.
Yep.
That's it.
I think there's a kill switch in all of them. Like a Bluetooth kill switch that they can just flip a button in.
That's it too with the smart thermostats and Teslas. Everyone's gonna have a Tesla, and the Teslas are gonna run you over.
Yeah. Would you own a Tesla?
I'd buy a Cybertruck.
Oh,
You would? Oh,
Yeah,
Dude, those things are so that's absolute trash.
yeah, they are. They're ugly.
And they're trash. Like now that people are starting to actually buy them and use them and own them and things, like it's.
Have you seen a lot of them? I know Chris has in Cali.
I've seen a lot of bad reviews about how they're like
rusting.
Rusting?
Rusting? Really?
Yeah, they're rusting.
They're stainless steel.
That's
Is it a bad grade of stainless?
It must
It's
be.
like,
I thought they were
Like the-
carbon
just a
fiber.
sticker.
The wheel covers they put on there are cutting the wheels all up. They said you gotta take them off.
Wow.
Yeah,
There was,
see, Jesus Fish is saying there's a rust problem. Yeah, people that are leaving them outside, they're saying there's like spots of rust all over them.
I
Yeah, the
bet,
body
dude,
panels don't line up
they're
correctly.
definitely up there where the salt belt. Jeez.
Yeah,
Take your Tesla to the salt belt.
Imagine getting hit by one of those things though.
yeah, that's gotta be bad.
Dude.
I mean, it's just like seems really inconvenient to own one of those things because we went out to lunch and we don't live in a big town, so there's probably really like a super populated part of the state, so probably there's not a lot of Tesla stations. Like I guess your Tesla is going to drive you to the next Tesla charging station, right?
Yeah. Well, it
So
tells
there
you
was a
what it-
big so there's probably not a lot on your journey like through my city. So there's a big football game, and man, there was a line like wrapped around the entire parking lot and like into the road of these Teslas waiting to charge. I'm like,
Oh wow.
dude, y'all are gonna be here for like the next 8 hours. Like, this
Mhm.
is insane. I would never want to be
no.
like,
No, until they can perfect the technology where the road is somehow electrified and it charges the cars wirelessly.
Yeah, like
as you
the old
drive.
slot cars.
Yeah, like that's the only way it's going to ever make sense, I think.
There was a big problem in the Midwest when we had that negative 15-degree snap that the charging stations were not working because it was too cold.
Oh,
And they showed like all these, because it's not like what you're talking about, how there's like 1 or 2 small little charging stations or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a big parking lot full of freaking Tesla charging stations.
oh wow.
And like they showed on the news, it's just like freaking Teslas as far as you could possibly see, and they're just abandoned, like doors open and crap.
Yeah.
Freaking, like
Oh, wow.
I mean, I wonder what do they have for heating those things? Some kind of
it's a heat pump of some sort, they said. Yeah.
can't get a lot of heat out
pump.
of something like that.
Imagine like a heat pump on a car, how easy that is to work on.
It can't be, it can't be like putting out that, a car is going to take a lot of heat. You got, I mean, if you think about it,
go ahead.
Yeah. And
I think they have a
little heat pump.
Yeah. But I think they keep it like what's it called? Even when you're not in it, unoccupied, like it keeps on going.
Keeps
like
going.
Yeah, like a comfort. Yeah. So they don't have so much to climb.
I mean, there's got to be heat generated by the motors. Maybe some way they could harness that, I guess.
Yeah. But not if you're sitting in a line waiting to charge at like negative 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better abandon that thing. You're going to die.
Yeah.
Right. It's scary. I don't know about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, boys.
Well, thanks for joining us, Joe. I know we didn't get
Thanks for having me
in depth on anything, but it's
Next
Friday.
time.
That's what we do.
This is the first time we had him on.
I know we should do it again. Actually, like plan a topic and have something professional
That'll
and
be
this
cool.
and that. You know,
Yeah. Have a script.
let's
Is
script
that?
it.
Have y'all ever had a script for anyone?
Just
We
about
have
every
tried.
show is
Yeah,
scripted.
they like
Yeah, we actually rehearse our
Scripted.
lines.
We have a team of writers. Like every Monday we sit down and we do our read through of the script.
Well,
Yeah,
I
right.
will tell you guys, you cannot tell. I
No,
mean, it's
no,
you guys.
that's called magic.
Speaking of magic, thank you, Ty.
Thanks, Ty.
Boom.
Appreciate it.
TY
buddy.
Banana Man.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Thanks, Joe.